There's a version of you that no one has ever seen. Not because it's shameful, but because the moment you say it out loud, it becomes real. So you bury it instead. But Carl Jung spent his life proving one uncomfortable truth. What you don't confront, you don't destroy. You just lose control of it. Right now, somewhere in you, it's already steering your anger, your silence, your fear of being truly known. Carl Jung was a psychiatrist who broke away from Freud over one disagreement. Freud believed the unconscious was driven by repressed desire. Jung believed it held something bigger, a hidden part of you, built from everything you were taught to reject about yourself. He called it the shadow. The anger, the jealousy, the ambition you learned to hide as a child doesn't disappear. It goes underground. And what goes underground doesn't die. It waits. You felt it already. The flash of anger when a friend succeeds at something you secretly wanted. The exhaustion of always being the strong one while your own needs go unspoken. The way you snap over something small when the real anger has been building for months. Jung believed these aren't malfunctions, they're messages. Every overreaction is the shadow trying to get your attention because you've never given it a seat at the table. We don't face it because facing it means admitting we're capable of the very things we judge in others. So instead, we project it outward. We find someone who embodies the trait we refuse to own, and we resent them for it. Jung wrote that people will do anything to avoid meeting their own soul. But the people who irritate you most often mirror something in yourself you haven't confronted yet. Left unexamined, the shadow compounds. Buried anger becomes a permanent tightness in your chest. Unspoken needs become resentment toward people who never even knew you needed anything. Jung believed this is how people become strangers to themselves, not because they changed, but because they spent years feeding a version of themselves they never once looked at. Jung's answer was never to suppress it harder, and never to let it run wild either. It was to know it, to notice the jealousy and ask what it reveals about what you actually want. To notice the resentment and ask where you failed to say what you needed. That's uncomfortable work, but the alternative is worse. Living as a stranger to half of yourself. So ask yourself tonight, what have you been carrying in silence? If this made you think, subscribe. This channel exists for the thoughts you've never said out loud.